Hello and welcome back to Making a Brewery, episode number 7, I believe. So a couple of little updates for you. I'm here today in the brewery doing a pilot brew for West Coast Pale Ale, or as I'm going to call it, West Cavan Pale Ale. So hopefully I'll have some brew day footage to show you today. But just some slight updates on planning and the electricity situation. So planning went in approximately 5 weeks ago, 4.5, 5 weeks ago. So as far as I understand it, somebody needs to visit me within 5 weeks or visit the site within 5 weeks. So that deadline is in, well, maybe 5 days time. So I still haven't heard anything from anybody, but they are supposed to visit just to check out the site. So that's progressing along nicely. We're due a decision on that by the 16th of June, which is not too far away. I think we're at the 22nd of May at the moment, so probably about just over 3.5 weeks away before getting a full decision on the planning. I also heard back from the electricity supply board today, actually, with a quote to get three-phase power in here. So it was quite expensive. I think all in all, it comes in around 6,800 euros, which is a little bit more than what I was hoping for. I was kind of hoping it would be, yeah, significantly less than that. So that leaves me with some questions to answer or things to think about, I guess, because nearly 7 grand to get electricity in here. That's probably something I could be putting towards rent for somewhere, and somewhere else that has three-phase power already. So I don't know. It's something to think about. But look, it's something that I may need to do. I might not have any choice about whether to get the three-phase power in here or not. So, but yeah, interesting that it's going to cost that much. I think it was around 6,000, and then plus VAT on top of that. So once I'm VAT registered, I'll be able to claim that back as well. So all in all, probably around about 6,000, but 6,800 up front. So yeah, that's the updates. I'm going to be brewing the pale ale today. So yeah, I'll show you some of the process as I go through the brew day. So the mash in temperature is 72 degrees. I'll be mashing for 45 minutes at 68 degrees. So just get that mashed in. I got all my grains pre-crushed from Get Brewed to save me the hassle. My efficiency has been really good lately with the crush from Get Brewed, so I'm happy to let them continue to crush my grains. I do have, for a homebrew setup, a small grain mill, but it only holds like 2 kilograms at a time, so it can be quite slow in getting things done. Right, that's the mash on. Some additions to the match. Obviously, my standard water profile additions. A little bit of gypsum and a little bit of calcium chloride. Also added in some glucanase from Morphe and Son, which helps increase efficiency and mashability. And yeah, what else does it do? Yeah, it increases mash efficiency essentially. So just about 4 mils in a 23 litre batch. So I'm going to recirculate that for a few minutes and then take my first pH reading. I was supposed to add 3 mils of lactic in here. I've just added 2 in. I don't want to overshoot. I'm aiming for a pH of 5.35 today on this one. So I'll see how I get on. But yeah, just give it a couple of minutes to recirculate around, and then I'll take the reading. Okay, so ready to take my first pH sample. I've got the sample down to around 20 degrees, which is perfect. for a perfect temperature for taking a pH sample, anything between 20 and 30. So, what do we got? Whoa, that's pretty accurate. I've got it down. I don't know whether you probably can't see that. Maybe you can. 3.35 actually, bang on where I wanted to be. So the brew father was telling me I needed 3 mils of lactic in there, but I just went with 2 just to be on the safe side, and I've landed bang on. So I am absolutely delighted with that. Happy days, good start to the brew day. Wonderful. Right, I'm going to wash off the probe and then get back to checking on the brew. So there it is. We're just slightly over temperature, 69, should be mashing in at 68. It's recirculating there. We've about 32 minutes left. Time to put on the Sparge water. You don't want to forget to do that. So that's that plugged in. And let me switch it on. I need to heat that up to around 77 degrees. So yeah, have that on now. 2 fermenters empty, so hopefully I'll get to brew a couple of times over the next couple of days. I do have my lager carbonating at the moment. Seems to be moving along nicely. Let me see if I can get out of the way. The place is a bit of a mess. But the clarity is improving day by day. If I can just move some stuff out of the way so I can get in and I can show you. I'll just pull some of this into a plastic glass so you might be able to see. Oh shit. Yeah, it's difficult to do this with one hand, but let me try. Make a complete mess, and of course it's all cloudy now. I checked that a little bit earlier on, and the clarity was perfect. And I'm guessing that it's still clarifying a little bit, and there's a little bit of yeast sediment at the bottom of the keg. So I've just made a bit of a mess there, but yeah, it's progressing along nicely. It was beautiful and clear earlier on, and it tastes like a lovely sup. Yeah, actually I just got a mouthful of that there, and it's definitely a bit yeasty. Let me show you around the garden since the last time you were here. Bought this for the car off Temu last week. It's basically just a sticker or a magnet style sticker that you can stick on your car. It was only €12, so cheap as chips. I got a lot of other promotional materials as well. Actually, let me go back inside and I can show you some of those. So got some of these nice tote bags, which I'll be able to give to some lucky people over the next few months or so. But quite nice. They were quite cheap on Temu as well. I think it was only something like €12 for 10 of those. What else have I got? Sorry, go into my box of goodies down here. So some stickers, some Breffney Gale Brewing pens, some bottle openers, and there's also some key rings in there as well. But yeah, all of that, cheap as chips. No more than like 20-30 euro for the lot. Some nice things to give away when I'm giving away some sample bottles to people. So yeah, let me give you a little tour of the place. So that's my new golf net. I do like to play a bit of golf. I'm still terrible, but I've been working on getting that set up over the last couple of weeks. So I have my stand for the simulator there. It's and then the hitting mat and into the net as well. So yeah, that's how I spend my spare time, playing golf. So that is my wife's polytunnel, and I think the last time we looked around the garden, the old greenhouse had been knocked down. Well, we've replaced that with another polytunnel, or not polytunnel, this is like a poly greenhouse or something along those lines. So all the veg is growing at the moment. That's potatoes in there. And let me just show you inside the greenhouse. There's the wife relaxing over there. Say hello. Yeah, finger, middle finger. So inside the greenhouse here we have all the tomatoes growing. They were only planted quite recently and they're flying up. But look at that, what a beautiful day at Loch Killinahar. The lake just down there. Beautiful sunny day. We've had 3 weeks of great weather here at the moment, which is quite unusual for Ireland. But yeah, really nice. Let's see, is there any sheep in the field next door? There is actually. He's responding. Sometimes we get a response. But yeah, lots of sheep in the field. Beautiful, beautiful day. What a day to brew. See how the mash is going. Yeah, still recirculating away. And the Sparge is on the go. Something new I started doing actually with, based on advice I received in the Rockstar Brewer Academy with my Sparge water addition. So typically I would add my brewing salts into my Sparge water before sparging, but now I'm adding them directly into the kettle. Apparently it can help reduce astringency, plus you don't want to over sparge, so which again can kind of produce chill haze and things like that. So I'm just dumping it straight into the kettle and then sparging maybe around 75% of the recommended amount, taking a reading at that point for my gravity and seeing how much more liquor I need to add back in to hit my exact numbers. So less of a guessing game at the moment, more precise brewing. So yeah, some of the stickers that I got, I've branded all of my fermenters. Unfortunately it's all still gathering dust, but hopefully in the next few weeks we'll have some update on the planning permission. And there you go, just to prove I wasn't lying earlier on. Nice level of clarity on that one so far. It's not crystal clear just yet, but it's getting there. And as I said, is a nice sup of beer, a nice crisp lager, which I'm hoping will be my flagship lager, Mochree. Cheers. Right, that's the mash done. I've done the mash out as well. Stop the pump and I'm gonna begin the sparge now. So it's been fairly uneventful mash so far. All is going well, so let's hope I don't drop something or smash something. But yeah, everything seems to be going well so far. I'm going to try something new with the sparge here, but because as I said earlier on, I don't want to over sparge and introduce astringency and tannins. So I think I'm going to, it's supposed to be around 16 litres of sparge going in here. I think I'm going to sparge with about 10, take my measurement then, see where I'm at, and then I'll know how much more liquor I need to add in to exactly reach my target. I hope that makes sense. I'm not really sure it makes sense to me, but I'm going to give it a try and we'll see where I land. So, yeah, that's flying through the grain bed. So I'm going to sparge with 2 litres at a time. I'm going to set the temperature up to around 98 degrees Celsius. So as I'm sparging, it's working its way up to boil temperature. So you may wonder how I'll know how much water to add in to get to my exact numbers. Well, there is a formula you can use, which I don't know off the top of my head, but I'll look. I have it on a brew sheet there, and essentially I think it's you take your kettle volume and your current gravity and either multiply the two of those together and divide it by your expected gravity or something like that. But I'll tell you exactly the formula in a few minutes once I've completed this sparge. You know what? Sometimes I'm actually quite stupid. So what I was just talking about a second ago is for post-boil to get your numbers exactly. I'm not going to be liquoring back pre-boil. So post-boil, what I should be doing is multiplying my post-boil volume by my post-boil gravity. But you do that in not in decimal places. So let's say I land at 1046, you would multiply your post-boil volume, let's say 23 by 46, and then you divide that by your expected gravity. I'm confusing myself here. Anyway, I'll get there. I've sparged with 12 litres. And I think I'm just going to wait till that's finished out. I'll take the grain bed off here, and then I'll just add in the last 4 litres of sparge water to get me up to 27 litres, I think, is my pre-boil volume that I'm looking for. So yeah, I'll wait till this is settled out. I've got everything through that sparge, and I'll use the last 4 litres to get me up to volume. So yeah, everything going all okay at the moment, bar my little bits of bouts of stupidity when I'm thinking about numbers. It all gets a little bit confusing at times. I'm getting old. Right, now all of the sparging is done. So as I said, I sparged with 12 litres of water. So a good portion of it, don't ask me to do the maths, but probably around 75% of the sparging was done through the grain bed. I looked then at what my total volume was. I was sitting at around about 23 or 24 litres. So I needed to add another 3 litres or 4 litres to get up to 27. So I'm bang on in terms of my pre-boil volume now. So my next step is to take a pre-boil gravity reading and a pre-boil pH reading and see where I'm at. So I can adjust if things are not where they should be. I can always adjust them down ever so slightly. In terms of pH, of course, not gravity. I'm not going to adjust anything pre-boil. Right, let me take those measurements. Where is my jug? So I only need a tiny little sample. So I'm going to use the Smart Ref from Easy Lens, which I think I only need like a mil or two to take a sample there. But first of all, I need to let that cool down a little bit. And let me bring you in a little bit closer so you can see what I'm doing. Ooh. Right, so let that cool down a little bit as we're waiting to get up to boil over there. I'm going to have myself a little beer. That's a Corona Extra, which is on tap at the moment. I do like a Corona on a summer's day. That's my guilty pleasure. But don't drink too much on a brew day because things get out of control. Okay, what do I need here? I need my phone to take a reading. Where is my phone? Don't drink on a brew day. Okay, it's over here. What is my pre-boil gravity using the Smart Ref? Actually, I should probably let that cool down a little bit more. I'm not sure exactly what the range is. I think it's around up to 50 degrees with the Smart Ref, but I should probably check on that and see what your sample should be. But ultimately, we're just taking one of these little droplet thingies, and we're going to drop it onto the Smart Ref, which is a smart density meter. So I'm sure many of you have seen the handheld, put it up to your eye, see where your density is pre-boil. This just does it electronically for you. So where is my temperature probe? And we'll see where we're at with the sample. Yeah, that's 40 degrees, so we're well less than 50. So let me just take a quick sample here. I'm going to just drop it on. I don't know whether hopefully you can see that there. It's you just drop it into the receptor part here. I'm going to scrape some bubbles out of there and see, can we get a reading? So it's just connecting. And it's telling me that my pre-boil gravity is 1043, which means my efficiency is fucking insane, because my post-boil gravity should be 1043, I believe. But let me just check that to be sure. So my post-boil gravity should be 1043. So what is essentially going to happen now is I'm going to boil for 60 minutes. My gravity is going to increase, but this is where I was talking about in terms of liquoring back. I'm going to get more than what I would anticipate. If I was brewing home brew now, I'd just accept the numbers at the end of the brew day, and I'd probably end up with a higher alcohol beer. But I don't want that. I want to hit my numbers bang on. So when I finish, I'm going to essentially multiply my post-boil volume, which will be approximately 23 litres, by my post-boil gravity, which will be more than 1043. Let's say we land at 1046 or whatever. So you multiply 23 by 23 by, let's say it's 46, 23 by 46, and then you divide that by your expected final gravity, which would be 1043 or 43. I'll try to explain that better when I'm doing it, because I'm talking crap at the moment. But look, everything's going well. That's a nice kind of number to land at in terms of my pre-boil gravity. I will take a pH reading, but not just yet. I want to just check on the boil. So we're at about 92 degrees. Just give that protein a bit of a stir in. It'll probably take at least another 10 minutes to get up to where we need to be on that one. But yeah, let me come back to you in a few minutes. So we're getting there with this one. We've about, 22 minutes left in the boil. So I measured the pH pre-boil, and it was at 5.41, which is fine. I'm aiming for 4.35. So 5.41 is well within tolerance. I'll probably have to make an adjustment in the last 10 minutes of the boil and make sure it's down to where I want it to be. But it's all good at the moment. I added 4 grams of Magnum in at 60 minutes, and I had no other additions during the boil, but I do have a couple of Whirlpool additions. So Sentinel and Simcoe, 57 grams of each, will go in during the Whirlpool at around 85 degrees. I think I didn't say at the start of today's brew day what the recipe was, but from a grist perspective, it's the vast majority of it is Malton's Pilsner malt, and then there's some Munich malt in there as well. Can't remember what the exact. Let me just check here. The exact percentages are. I should have them written down. So yeah, 80% Pilsner and 20% Munich for this beer, and then from an IBU perspective, we're looking at 5 IBUs of Magnum at the start of the boil, and then the Whirlpool editions are going for 2.5 grams per litre for the Whirlpool editions, which gives me 57, I think. And then I do have a dry hop edition of Chinook, and I think that's around 57 grams as well. I can't remember exactly. And I do also have some Tetra hop going in there as well. So yeah, just getting ready for the flurry of activity. So what I'm going to do is, once we get to 10 minutes of the boil, left of the boil, I'm going to be adding in my Whirlfloc, my yeast vitamins, and then that's where I need to take my gravity reading and also my pH reading, and that's where I'm going to start kind of being a bit crazy, making adjustments at that stage, understanding how much liquor back I need to add in to hit my gravity number, my original gravity number, and also what my pH number is at the moment and what I need to adjust to get that to where I want to be. So I'll probably need to add like half a mil of lactic or a mil of lactic just to get it to where I want to be. So yeah, all good so far. It's been a fairly uneventful brew day, which is great so far, but I'm skeptical. Something has to go wrong at some stage. But anyway, I'll join you back in a few minutes. Okay, here's where the madness begins. So we're 10 minutes left. I've added in my yeast vitamin and my Whirlfloc, but now I need to start taking samples and trying to cool it down as quickly as possible. So I'm going to take, I don't know, what's that, 50 mils or whatever of a sample. Maybe that's too much. Just trip that off a little bit. I think I need to get myself some steel jugs, because I believe they're easier to cool down faster. But the process I follow is having a jug full of ice cubes and water, and just plonk that in there and kind of swirl it around so it's cooling down that wort as quickly as possible, because I do need to take a gravity reading, and I also need to take a pH reading, because if the pH is off at this point, I'm going to throw in some lactic just to bring it down ever so slightly. So yeah, it's kind of a little bit of a pain trying to cool this down as quickly as possible. If anybody has any suggestions on how they do it, getting it cooled down to a reasonable temperature that I can test the pH. So ideally I want it down to around anything between 20 and 30 degrees, but that can take a good few minutes, and it doesn't give me a great window of opportunity to make adjustments. So yeah, any suggestions out there, let me know on how you can cool down your wort as quickly as possible so you can take a sample. But like I mentioned earlier, I should probably figure out what the actual tolerances are for the smart ref, just for taking the gravity sample. I just don't want to take a sample and throw like boiling hot wort in there and do some damage to the sensors in there or anything like that. It's an expensive piece of equipment. And also the pH meter, they're not cheap either. The one I'm using is the Milwaukee 101. So yeah, it's not ideal. So let me take. So yeah, I've pulled that out of the boiling kettle there, and let me just check where it's at the moment. Yeah, it's around 60. So we've got it down by about 40 degrees in the space of a couple of minutes or so, but ideally I want that to get down a little bit longer. Let me come back to you on the video once I have it down, and we'll do the measurements, and I'll tell you where I'm at. Okay, I think I've got the sample down to a reasonable enough level for it's around 29 degrees. So what I did was I just took it out of that hard jug and put it into a small plastic cup and threw it into the ice water. So let me take the gravity reading first of all. And where is my phone? It's there, okay. So What is my gravity reading? So obviously I'd expect this to have gone up from 1.043, which we had pre-boil. Although we didn't have a massive boil off, from what I can see, it's quite a warm day here today. So the boil off hasn't been as extreme as it normally would be. Although we'll see that in the next 5 minutes or so. Let me see. Let's get into this app. The Brewmeister app is of course not working at the moment. Okay, here we go. Smart ref. Start measurement. I'm going to say this will be probably 1.046, I would imagine. Oh, even bigger. 1.048. I don't know if you can see that or not. But yeah, that's quite a big jump in gravity. And now I also need to check my pH. So I need to make adjustments on that. And I'll talk a little bit more about that in a second. But what's my pH on this as well? So around 20 degrees is my sample at the moment. Let's take the pH reading. So pH reading of 5.41, although that may adjust now in a few seconds. You need to just leave it in there a little bit. I'm going to add 5.40. It's kind of teetering on at the moment. So I'm going to add in about half a mil of lactic, just to bring that down to 4.35. Yeah, the camera's picking me up now. So half a mil of lactic, syringe. No needle, just a blank syringe, and this syringe goes up to a maximum of 1 mil. It's quite a small syringe, so I'm only looking for half a mil. I probably should be wearing gloves here when I'm dealing with acid, but you won't tell anybody, will you? Okay, so half a mil of acid gone into the mash, and also then I need to work out. Well, actually, I'm not going to work out what my... oh, I am actually, because that's the boil finished. So, let's turn off the heat, turn off the time, and see where we are. So, I would estimate we're at about 24 litres post-boil gravity. I was aiming, like normally it's around 23, so less boil off than you would normally see. So I need to do the math now to understand how much water I need to add back into that to get my exact final gravity. So bear with me while I do this. So my post-boil volume is, yeah, I would say, just let me check that again. I want to get this right. So I would say my post-boil volume is around 24.3, let's say. It's slightly over 24, right? So that's 24.3. And I'm going to multiply that by my post-boil gravity, which was 40... Shit, what was it? Pretty sure it was 48, wasn't it? Take notes, yeah, 48. So multiplied by 48, and then I'm going to divide that by what my expected or my intended post-boil gravity is, or my final gravity. What I want is 43, and then that equals 27.1. Okay, so essentially that's how much water I need to finish at to hit my final gravity number of 1043. So at the moment I have 24 litres, or 24.2. So I probably need to add in another 3 litres of water to liquor back to get to 1043. Does that make sense? Hopefully it does. So by multiplying my post-boil volume, which was 24.2, against my post-boil gravity, which was 1048, but we're just multiplying it against 48, and then dividing that by 1043, but just the 43 part, I ended up at 27.1, and that's the total volume of liquor I should end up with. So because I have 24.2 in there at the moment, I need to add in an extra 2.9 litres or whatever of water to, and what I should do then is hit bang on 1043. So let's test that theory out. Okay, so where is my jug? So my Sparge water is in here, has been heating. Actually, let me just keep that heat on for a moment, because I don't want to lose any heat, and I do need to do some sterilisation with my wort chiller and stuff like that. So yeah, I want to get myself, I'm going to aim for just 27 litres here. That's the, I'm not going to start being precise and say 27.1 or whatever, but let's say we aim for 27 litres here. And then I'll take another reading and I should be bang on 1043. So we're still at 98 degrees, so anything I'm adding in here should be still in that range where it's sterilised and it's not going to get infected, or there's nothing really to worry about there. I'll be able to give this a little bit of a stir as well. Okay, where are we? I'm still just slightly below 27 litres, so another 100 mils or so will get me there, I think. Hopefully. So now I should be in within the range 1043 if my calculations are correct. So I'm just going to give that a quick stir. It is still at a really hot temperature of 97 degrees. So there's no danger of any infection or introducing anything that's going to spoil the beer. Just make sure that's mixed in. Okay, and then let me go back and take another sample, essentially. What did I do with the jug? Oh yeah, there we go, the jug. Just empty that one out. And I'll take another sample. So again, I'm going to measure this sample now for gravity and pH. I expect I should be hitting both my numbers now, but first obviously I need to let that cool down. Whilst I'm letting that cool down, let me dump out some of this out of the smart ref, and I'm going to start circulating the wort through my chiller to sterilize that also. And I need to get it down then to about 85 degrees, where I'm going to do my Whirlpool additions. So I'll pop the lid on here. Shit. I'm just going to turn on the pump and circulate that wort through the chiller, so it sterilizes everything and there's no real danger of any infection in there. And then I'm going to hook up the chiller to the hose, the outside hose, and wait till that cools down to about 20 degrees and then transfer into the fermenter, which I've already, if you see here, the fermenter I've already cleaned and sterilized, and it's ready to accept the beer in there. So we're flying, we're really going fast. Okay, my dog is looking for her ball. Oh, here we go. This is, come on. Yeah, this is Peggy, my brew dog. And she's gone playing a game of fetch. So yeah, cool. Let me come back to you in a few minutes when I've circulated all of this and I've done my measurements and stuff like that. All right, this is really good actually, because I've hit my numbers bang on. So the gravity I've hit is 1.043, which is exactly what I was aiming for. And my pH is just teetering between 5.35 and 5.36. So again, bang on the numbers, exactly where I wanted to land. So the system works. It's wonderful. That dilution. Plus, I end up with more beer essentially by liquoring back some more beer than what I would have ended up with if I just left it as it is, higher gravity beer. So I end up with more beer at 4.5%. Hopefully, if all goes to plan. So now I'm moving on to the next stage, which is the Whirlpool hop additions. So 57 grams of Sentinel and 57 grams of Simcoe. I've chilled the beer down to, oh shit, you've lost me. I've chilled the beer. Why is this not following me? Oh, that's a bit weird. So let me just move it, the camera. Oh shit. I've chilled the beer down to 85 degrees. So I need to take off the chiller. Just bear with me a minute, because this is going to be a bit of a task. I'm going to take off the lid, and I'm going to add in these additions. Why is the camera struggling to follow me? There's my face. Okay. Yeah, now it's working. So essentially I need to hold this temperature at 85 for 10 minutes or so, and add in the hops. Now, I'm adding in a lot of hops here. I probably should have used a hop sock or some form of hop tea bag or whatever, but it is what it is. Add these in, and I'm going to set the timer for 10 minutes. So 10-minute hop stand. I was planning on doing like a whirlpool here, but I'm a little bit nervous around using my drill with this kind of whirlpool edition. Actually, maybe I'll do it. I'll just spray a lot of Sarsana. So, hop's gone in. All good. Let me get the drill. Where's my Sarsan? We're just getting into the territory now of not wanting to introduce any infections into the beer, but I'm just going to use this for about a minute in here, just to create a little bit of a whirlpool. I wish you could smell the aromas which are coming off this beer now at the moment with that Whirlpool edition. Really, really nice. Right, so that's it. That's all I'm going to do in terms of a whirlpool, but it still has another 8 minutes remaining. Um, so I'll let that all settle, hopefully nicely at the bottom of the kettle, and then I'll begin the transfer across into the fermenter. So, look, probably have enough brew day footage now. I'll talk to you a little bit once I have everything transferred across and the yeast pitch, and we'll wrap up this video at that point. Well, that's it. I'm all finished up. That was a great brew day, to be honest. It finished exactly where I wanted it to finish. Final gravity 1.043, which is exactly where I was aiming for. Knockout temperature was 20 degrees, exactly where I was aiming for. Pitched my yeast at 20 degrees. The yeast is USO5. And the pH landed exactly at 5.35. It's actually a bit weird. It was the best brew day ever, probably, like just in terms of numbers. Everything just landed where it was supposed to land, which is just really unusual. But look, I'm not going to complain about that. So yeah, I guess I'll keep you guys posted on any further updates. Hopefully you enjoyed the kind of experience of pilot brew day today. Maybe sometime in the future we'll start videoing the actual brew days for the brewery. But yeah, just to recap on the main updates around planning. Hopefully I'll hear a little bit more on the planning permission in the next few days, or maybe the next week or so. And obviously on the electricity side of things, I didn't kind of mention earlier on, I'm a little bit pissed off about that because there's 3-phase power just outside my door, and the ESB, Electricity Supply Board, are trying to charge me nearly $7,000 just to fucking run a wire from outside my door in here, which is excessive. Like, that's just, like, that's taking the piss. I understand it's a new connection I'm looking for and all that, like, but essentially it's someone climbing up a pole and running a wire in here. Or maybe I'm underestimating that. Maybe there's more work involved. But $7,000 or nearly $7,000 seems a bit excessive around that. But look, that's something we'll need to make a decision on once we hear back from planning. If I get the planning permission, it's probably likely that I'm going to have to go and get the power in here as well. If I don't get the planning permission, we have to look at plan B, whatever plan B is. I don't know yet. I need to look for a premises somewhere else or whatever. But yeah, hopefully you enjoyed the video today. If you did, please like the video, subscribe somewhere here. I'm going to point to subscribe. And also, please share my videos as well. If you think that anybody else might be interested in learning a little bit more about starting a brewery in Ireland, do feel free to share it with them. And as always, if you have any comments, let me know. Just pop them in the chat down below in the comment section. And whether that's like just advice you want to give me or any clarification that's needed on anything I've covered today, I would love to hear from you, and I will respond straight away as soon as I see any comments in there. So yeah, thank you so much for watching episode 7, I think this is, of Making a Brewery, and I look forward to speaking to you all again soon. Cheers, happy brewing.